Hey guys, my name is Emily, if you haven't seen my face before, and today I'm going to be making a read with me vlog style video for Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. If you are new to my channel, I have already done a few of these read with me vlog style videos for Colleen Hoover's books, and I am slowly making my way through all of her books, so if you are interested in checking out any of the ones that I've already done, I will leave that playlist in the cards up there for you guys. So this video is going to be spoiler free, but I am going to have a spoiler section at the very end of this video, and I will give you guys notice for sure when that's happening. There's going to be a spoiler section written across the screen, so you for sure can skip over that part if you don't want spoilers. The rest of this video will be safe from spoilers if you are interested in checking out this book for yourself and you don't want to know what happens in it. So Maybe Someday is the first book in the trilogy Maybe Someday series by Colleen Hoover. I knew absolutely nothing about it going into reading this book. To give you guys a general idea of what this book is about now that I've read it, in case you are curious, this book is about a 22-year-old lady named Sydney who is in college. She's living her best life with her boyfriend and her best friend, and unfortunately she finds out that her boyfriend is cheating on her with her best friend slash roommate that she's been living with. This happens in the very first chapter of the book, so this is by all means not spoilers. This is just the general premise of the book. So Sydney finds herself in a really desperate situation, needing a place to stay, and she ends up meeting up with her neighbor named Ridge, who she has been seeing sitting on his balcony every now and then playing guitar. She's kind of intrigued by him. So they end up meeting up, and they both end up needing each other for different reasons. And that is all I'm going to say for this book as of right now, and we are going to jump right into the vlog style video so you can kind of get my experience as I'm reading through this book. So I will see you guys right at the end of this video to talk about my final thoughts and my overall opinion of the book. Alright guys, I'm about to start Maybe Someday. It is actually pretty late right now, but I really wanted to read this book before I go to sleep. I have no clue how much I'm going to read, but I will definitely keep you guys posted as I make my way through the book. I am expecting good things. Alright guys, so I just finished the second chapter of Maybe Someday. I'm about to start chapter 3, so I'm on page 29, and I feel like this is going to be a good one. It's very different from the first two Colleen Hoover series that I've started, which would be the Slam series and the Hopeless series. So I still have no clue what this book is going to be about, really, but I'm going to give you guys a little general gist of it from what I've read so far. So our main character is going to be Sydney, which is a normal name, which is very interesting because Colleen Hoover's books usually have these very weird character names, but we will get to that. So Sydney is a 22-year-old college student. She is interested in doing music, and she lives in an apartment with her best friend named Tori. So the book starts off with Sydney being in this really hectic state of leaving her apartment because she found out that her boyfriend and her best friend, who was her roommate, were hooking up, and so her boyfriend was cheating on her with Tori. She is now moving out. She is homeless, I guess you could say, because she doesn't want to live with her roommate anymore. And she ends up going over to her neighbor's house, I guess you could say, and this guy lives there named Ridge, and Ridge is a guy that has been playing music outside of his apartment, and she's been listening to it and she's been liking his music, and they've kind of known each other a little bit, but I don't really know the full context of that yet because we did get a that's what's happening and now here's 2 weeks before, and they're kind of meeting for the first time, I guess you could say. So I'm intrigued. This is kind of a different style from the other Colleen Hoover books I've read, but this book is going to be a lot about music, I feel like, because Ridge, who is the love interest, I assume, and of course he does have an odd name, is a singer-songwriter kind of thing. He plays guitar, and something I really wanted to mention was that at the very beginning of the book, it does say that there is a playlist that you can access at www.maybesomedaysoundtrack.com to kind of listen to the songs as they are mentioned in the book. I haven't tried the link yet though, because I haven't gotten to the point in the book where we're supposed to be listening to the songs, because I guess each part of the book has a song that goes with it that you're supposed to listen to during that scene to kind of get the vibe, but we haven't gotten there yet. We're still at the very beginning of the book. So far though, I definitely am intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen because Ridge has a girlfriend. I don't know how that's going to play out. so I'll keep reading for tonight and I'll chat with you guys after a few more things have happened. I just finished chapter 4, which brought me to page 59 of the book. And the way that this book is working so far is that every chapter has Sydney's point of view for a bit, and then we get to see what Ridge is doing and what Ridge is thinking. And it's not like we get Sydney's point of view and then we get Ridge's point of view of the exact same thing. The story just kind of continues after Sydney's point of view. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm already invested in this book. I don't know how Colleen Hoover does it, but she just sucks me in so fast that I'm just like, wow, I don't know how she does it, but I'm already really enjoying the book. I'm excited to see how these two characters are going to work out because, like I mentioned, Ridge does have a girlfriend and there is something that makes him a little bit different, but I don't want to give that away because that kind of is a plot point that I feel like we're gonna learn a lot about. So I'll talk about that more in the spoiler section, but for now, just know that he is kind of a little bit different and there's something that's unexpected about his character that we find out pretty early on. So that is interesting to know, and I'm really excited to see what's going to go on with these songs and the songwriting and all of that kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to stop for tonight because it is very late. I'm going to pick up the book again tomorrow and I will update you guys when I have read a little bit more, but so far so good. I hope it stays on this kind of uphill, I'm enjoying it all the way through, but we will see. You never know. Hey guys, it is the next morning and I've already started reading. I just finished chapter 6, which brought me to page 103. So I'm making my way through the book. I have read that much, that little chunk there. This book has already made me laugh out loud like 5 times already, so I'm really enjoying it. I love the characters, I love the way that they interact with each other, and honestly, this might already be my favorite Colleen Hoover book that I've read so far, just because I love how everything is working together in the story and their chemistry is so good. Things are definitely getting a little bit kind of crossing the line because Ridge does have a girlfriend that he has still not disclosed. So I think there is going to be some conflict there whenever that is revealed because he should have mentioned that by now and he hasn't. So definitely going to keep reading. So I will update you guys after a little bit more. Alright guys, it is actually the next day and I read a little bit more, so I am now on page 149. I just finished chapter 9, which brings me to not quite halfway, but we're definitely getting there. So we're learning a lot more about Ridge and his background, his character, why he is the way he is, that kind of stuff. We're starting to learn some interesting details about him. Not too many books can actually make me laugh, but this one is definitely doing it, which I can definitely appreciate. And I love Ridge's character so far. I think he's very realistic in the way that he's acting, and I'm just really enjoying the book. This top slammed, which I absolutely love. This top's hopeless. This tops the other ones that I've read so far, so I'm really stoked to keep going. I will see you guys later on. I just read a little bit more. I'm on page 171 and I just finished chapter 11 and we just had quite a tense scene. Honestly, I'm rooting for the characters even though there are obvious boundaries that are keeping them apart, and I feel like their relationship is more realistic than some of the other Colleen Hoover books I've read because it isn't very insta-lovey, which tends to be a theme in some of her books. So I'm definitely more a fan of these kinds of couples in books that have a more realistic pacing with their relationship. It seems more natural because it's not all rushed right at the beginning. So I can definitely appreciate that. I also really love the music element in this book. Ridge and Sydney are writing songs together and the songs are actually listed for us in the book and we can actually look those up and listen to them like I mentioned at the beginning of the book, which is so cool. I love that element. That's something that's really new to me. I've never read a book that's like that, so we can kind of get a whole new layer of the story added onto it by listening to those songs while we read. And I just got to the part where they created a song called Maybe Someday, which is of course the title of the book, so I think that's kind of cool. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really excited to see where the story goes, and I'm hoping I stay as into it right now all the way through because I'm definitely really enjoying it. Alright guys, I have been reading for a while. I'm at page 226 and now I am more than halfway through. I just finished chapter 15. So I've read all of this big chunk and I just have the smaller chunk left. Now we're learning a lot more about Ridge's girlfriend, and there's something going on with her that I feel like I kind of have an idea of what it is, but it hasn't been revealed yet. So We will see when we get there, but I'm definitely having my predictions. I will let you guys know if I'm right, but again, we will have to wait and see about that one. This is definitely giving me are they or aren't they going to kind of vibes. Like, are they going to get together? Are they not? I mean, in Colleen Hoover fashion, I think it's safe to say they are, but there's obviously some barriers that are stopping them from being together right now, and I'm curious to see how all of this conflict is going to be resolved. We're quite in the middle of a lot of drama right now. There's a lot of feelings going on, so I'm gonna keep reading and I will update you guys soon. Finished chapter 17, which brought me to page 214. So we did just get the reveal about what's kind of going on with Ridge's girlfriend, which kind of explains a lot about the way that he treats her and the way that he acts and talks about her, but it definitely doesn't excuse the fact that he has a girlfriend and he's still developing these feelings for Sydney. So we can understand his character a little bit better, and it makes us a little bit more sympathetic, but at the same time his actions still aren't justified. But I still like his character. I'm still really into the story and everything, because obviously the conflict is there and the book is doing what the book needs to do, and it's getting me into the characters. It's getting me to feel bad for everybody, want them to work out, but also still feel bad about wanting them to work out, and all of these feelings going on at the same time. The reveal of Ridge's girlfriend, what was going on with her, was kind of what I expected. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I had a feeling that was in that general realm, and I was right. So we will see. I'm gonna keep reading and I will keep you guys posted. Alright guys, I've been reading for quite a while. I'm on page 271. I just finished chapter 19 and I just read such a tense scene. There definitely were some tears though. It was super tense. A lot of feelings were going on and I'm into it, honestly. I'm so sucked into the story. I can't wait to see how it's going to end. But I honestly don't know how the characters are going to work it out, because the way that the conflict is going, I don't see how Sydney and Ridge can be together given their circumstances. But obviously things are going to work out. Colleen Hoover has a way. I just don't know what it is yet. I just want to keep reading to see what's going to happen. So I think I'm going to give you guys one more update later on, and then we'll see how close I am to finishing the book. I'm super excited, and I will see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, I am almost in the book. I am in the middle of chapter 23. Honestly, I don't know how long chapter 23 is, because it's probably the longest out of all of the chapters I've read so far. So I just wanted to take a little break here in case this is the last chapter of the book. Right now, there is so much going on with all of the characters, honestly. Ridge's girlfriend and everything that's going on with her is very understandable. They had a good conversation, and they talked about a lot of things that we never really thought of as the readers, that weren't really known to us, at least not to me. Maybe you could have seen this coming, but personally I didn't. I was surprised. So everything is kind of making sense, and it's like all the pieces are connecting. There's going to be still some obstacles, I guess you could say, in their relationship if they are to get together by the end of this book. I do already know that there's going to be more than one book in the series, so I'm curious to see if maybe they aren't going to be together in this book, but they are going to be together in the next book. So far, so good. I'm still super into this book, and I am very excited to finish it. So I will see you guys later on with my overall final thoughts. Alright guys, so let's talk about this book. Oh my goodness, this is definitely my favorite Colleen Hoover book that I've read so far. I think the first reason, like I mentioned before, was that it wasn't insta-lovey, and insta-love, that trope kind of turns me off a bit, so I was really happy to see that that was not in this book. The chemistry between the two characters seemed so natural and realistic. It just sucked me in right away, and I could not put this book down. I was so into it, and the music element, so good. I love that. It was this whole new concept, and I loved listening to the music of this book as I went along with it. It's not the kind of music that I would personally generally listen to in my free time per se, but I still enjoyed it because it was part of the whole reading experience, and I would definitely recommend searching that playlist on YouTube if you are reading through the book and you want to kind of have that little element alongside with it. So this book I ended up giving 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely a huge fan of it. Definitely would recommend this book. If you like romance stories, if you like the musical element, if you love the he has a girlfriend already kind of trope, I think you'd also really like this book because that is a big element of the book, of course. And this book was so funny. Out of all of Colleen Hoover's books, this one has made me laugh the most consistently throughout the book. I just found it really funny, the characters were funny, and overall this was a good book. There were so many good things that I loved about this book, which is why I gave it a 5 stars. I don't give 5 stars out often, so this one is definitely a good one in my opinion. So if you're looking for a new book recommendation, I would definitely recommend this one. So good. So that kind of wraps up my spoiler-free thoughts of this book. So if you haven't read this book, or if you don't want to be spoiled, I would recommend clicking out of this video now because we are going to get into spoiler territory. So if that is you, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. But for the rest of us who have read this book or just are here for the spoilers, let's get right into it. The only thing that I can think of that I didn't like about this book was the fact that Sydney wasn't that upset that her best friend was hooking up with her boyfriend. They never had a really good conversation about it. She never talked about missing her best friend, that I can remember anyways. It didn't seem like it was significant to her at all. She was upset that Hunter cheated on her, but she didn't seem too distraught about the fact that she lost her best friend, which I thought was a little bit weird, but at the same time the focus definitely was on Sydney and Ridge's relationship, not Sydney's relationship with Hunter and Sydney's relationship with Tori. So I kind of excused that. It didn't bother me that much. I still gave the book a 5 stars, but I just figured I'd mention that because that was something that I thought was a little bit weird when I was reading this book. Something else that I absolutely loved about this book was the fact that Ridge was deaf, and this wasn't something we knew right off the bat. This was a little discovery that was just kind of trickled in there that I definitely was not expecting. I love that element of the book. I thought it was really unique, and it's something that was really unexpected. I wouldn't say that it was like a plot twist per se. It was more so just something about a main character that we didn't know yet until we found out. And I thought that was really cool, the way that it was done. So the fact that he still played guitar was super interesting. I loved his whole character. He seemed very unique to me, which was really enjoyable. This book, like I mentioned before, was so funny. Maggie assumed Sydney was deaf and she would speak really loudly and slowly to her. That made me laugh pretty much every time I saw that. It was so funny to me. I love that. It was super creative. I also really loved Warren's relationship with Sydney. I thought it was super nice to have a male friendship that wasn't a love interest. This book also really made me care about the side characters. I was really rooting for Warren. I thought his character was awesome. He was interesting to me. Hunter was interesting to me. Bridget was interesting to me. Maggie was interesting to me. Everyone was interesting to me. So I feel like everyone's plots were kind of supporting the main plot of Ridge and Sydney, but at the same time, they were interesting on their own, which I definitely appreciated. Whenever Maggie's situation started being hinted at, I felt like it was a little bit obvious there was something to do with her health, but we didn't know what it was until we were actually told. So I didn't really mind that was a little bit predictable because we still didn't know all the details of it. Was she dying? Is she just sick? That kind of stuff. So once that was revealed, I feel like it kind of meshed well with the story, and it made sense. It wasn't like a super surprising thing because, like I said, it was kind of obvious that there's something wrong with her, but I think it was still well done. The moment that Ridge talked for the first time to Sydney made me cry. I thought it was so cute, so beautiful. The fact that he chose that moment to talk to her out loud with his voice was just awesome. I love that element of the book. Their whole relationship, honestly, was just so interesting to me. I don't think that Ridge's actions are just completely innocent, like Sydney tried to make it seem, because he still did let Sydney move in, even though he was attracted to her. He still tried to get close with her, to write music, and they could have tried harder, I guess, to not get feelings for each other and keep their distance from each other if they really wanted to, but obviously they didn't. So I don't think he's innocent in this situation because he was still putting himself in scenarios to build stronger feelings for Sydney when his heart should have been with Maggie, and vice versa for Sydney. So, I mean, I still like them as characters, obviously. I still love the story. Realistically, yes, I feel like it could have been avoided, them falling in love with each other, but at the same time, that wouldn't have been a very good story. So it is what it is. The way that it kind of wrapped up with Maggie telling Ridge that their relationship can't really work out because they're not really in love with each other, they're more in love with the idea of each other, I feel like that was the only way that the story could have worked, because I didn't see how Ridge would leave Maggie to be with Sydney. So I feel like everything worked out the way that it would have, and it was supposed to work out, if that makes sense. I'm happy with the way that everything happened. I also loved the fact that when they finally came together, they acknowledged that they needed some time apart instead of just jumping into a relationship with each other. So they told each other, like, we're going to have some time apart and then we're going to come together when we're ready. And I love the way that that was done, that she went to like the club or the bar or whatever, and Ridge was performing with the band and they were performing the songs that were written for Sydney, about Sydney. I thought that that was so cute and just perfect. I love the way that everything wrapped up so nicely in that scene. It was so cute, so beautiful, and the ending of the book I feel like ended at a really good point. So I'm definitely happy about how the book ended and how everything wrapped up, and I feel like all of the loose threads were kind of wrapped up very nicely. So I'm very curious to see how the next books in the series are going to kind of deal with their relationship, if it's going to be a retelling from Ridge's perspective or if it's going to be a brand new plot. I'm very interested to see how that is going to work out. So I'm definitely going to pick up the next books of the series once I get to that point. I'm going to probably read a few other Colleen Hoover books before that, but we will see. Okay guys, so that wraps up this video about Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. If you guys have read this book, please let me know down below your thoughts on it, because I'm really curious to see if you guys liked it as much as I did. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to, you can go ahead and leave a like, a comment, or subscribe if you want, and I will see you next time. Thanks guys, bye. God bless.